dim lights above me. I am waiting for a sign. The cold breeze surrounds me. I am holding.
This actually is the story of my marriage. Now, many years ago, uh, it was the first day of our masters at Delhi School of Economics, and I entered the class for the first time, and I took the back bench because I wanted to check the crowd that was coming in. And there is this girl that walked in. Now, she had faded, very sad jeans. She was wearing a very faded, sad top. Her hair was tied. She had oil in her hair. And I looked at her and I said, this is it. This is the girl. Her name, Monica. Now, it took me about a month or so to get to start talking to her first. And then about, I think, a couple of months before I could actually pop the question. Now, in between that period when I was quoting her, my ego took a massive hit. You see, the thing was that when we would enter the class, I would make every effort to sit with her, right? Now, that kind of demoted me from being a backbencher to being a front bencher, where she sat. And one fine day, there was this Sadar teacher of ours, very good teacher. He used to teach us business operations, and he walked into the class, and then he started off and he says, today we're going to talk about turnkey projects. How many of you know about turnkey projects? Now, just like some of you are laughing, everybody in the class laughed because it is like, one of those laughs which is like, what a stupid question. The only person who didn't laugh was me. And this guy, for some reason, just looked at me and says, Anshu Mor here will tell us what a turnkey project is. I had no freaking idea. I could talk about movies, music, I could list down the American top 40 at that point of time. The only thing I was not interested in was turnkey projects. Monica was sitting right next to me. She looked at me and it was like she had no interest in me at that point in time. She had that look, it's like the bloody North Indian guy who's not even rich. So it was quite a shocker for me when, after a few days, over a 19 rupees vanilla ice cream in North Campus, I actually popped the question and she said yes. It was just as stupid as I want your friendship, and she was like, oh, here, take it. And so started our love affair at North Campus, a typical Delhi University kind of a love affair. You sit in B school canteen. My family was even more shocked. Hi, hamare badmash bete ka serious affair. And Monica was a graduate in economics. She had just done masters at Delhi School of Economics. My father is a PhD in economics. So any question which stated her qualifications first, followed by can I marry her, had just too much usage of the word economics for my parents to say no. Her family, on the other hand, just said no. And during the course of her affair, I used to go to her house, because I would pick her up and drop her, and her dog, Casper, fell in love with me. And my brother-in-law actually, just at that point when the family said no, used Casper as the reason. So he actually said, see mom, Casper likes him. Now, can you imagine, despite my drop-dead gorgeous looks, Casper was the reason they said yes. Anyway, the families met, and my father gave the typical filmy dialogue, which is like, "Hame sirf beti chahiye." Their family was very happy with that dialogue. Everything was set, and this is the time when in the movie the interval comes. So just imagine that the interval has happened. You've gone outside, had your popcorns, you've just come back. Now after the interval, her mom told us that we want the kundlis to be matched, right? Now, our side of the family never believed in the whole kundli thing. But either which way, we gave our kundli. What could possibly go wrong? Well, apparently everything. That kundli was a mismatch to the levels which can only be paralleled by Justin Bieber singing a bhajan. In that kundli, not visible to the naked eye, but somewhere it was written that if Anshu marries Monica, Anshu will die within 1 year. Yeah, seriously. So the Shah Rukh Khan in me rose. I said, I'm okay dying for love. The question was popped to Monica. Monica said, I'm cool. That didn't go down well with me. Then they asked my parents, they said, we are okay with the marriage. Nobody was bothered that I'm going to die. Her side of the family was, but then the elders intervened and, kind of the kundli thing was put to rest. Everything was set. They said, okay, fine, let's just get these two guys married. So the marriage was set. 4th Feb, engagement. 6th Feb, marriage. 8th Feb, reception. So the dates were set. Everything was okay. And then it just started happening. Just a day before our engagement, her side of the family got this very tragic news that one of their uncles passed away in a freak chartered plane accident. Now, it was genuinely really shocking for everyone, right? Their side, our side. We couldn't just believe that this had happened. And, obviously the question started coming into our head, was the kundli correct, right? Is this the wrong thing that we're doing? And thankfully, elders in the family again got together and they said, once the marriage is fixed and all of those things, you should not cancel. Let's just go ahead with the marriage. So the marriage date kind of happened as it was supposed to happen. And on 6th Feb, I found myself sitting in this mandap, with the panditji and just waiting for my wife to come. Now, while I was sitting there was one enthusiastic uncle. Okay? He decided on his own that the fire in the mandap was not really strong. So he said, I'm going to pour some camphor on it. Okay? Now, he went a little generous with the whole camphor thing. Some of it spilt over, and the area around the havan caught fire. Now, I'm sitting there. I am the groom. I'm the macho guy. I can't run. I can't panic. They're marrying their daughter to me. So I just looked around and said, can somebody take care of the fire, please? It obviously didn't sound like this. It never sounded like this. I think the please was like, please. But somebody did take care of the fire. And then, then Monica came and I looked at her and I was like, wow, man, beautiful girl. Finally, no oil in her hair. And then came the time of the fairas. Now, let me tell you a thing about fairas, okay? I have this vision of fairas. This is how they're supposed to happen, okay? She's laughing. This is how they're supposed to happen. First fundamental rule of the faira for me was it has to happen in slow motion. Wind blowing. Mantras being chanted by a chorus group on high definition speakers. Close shot, long shot. Smiling faces, and the works. That's how fairas were supposed to happen. This is how they happened. Apparently, her side of the custom, the custom on her side, they told me that you are supposed to hold your wife from behind while you have to take the fairas. My brother-in-law is supposed to walk in front of us, facing us, with a plate in his hand, with something on it which he has to throw at us. I can tell you one thing. Holding somebody from behind and taking 7 rounds of fire, not easy. Especially when that someone is wearing a long lehenga. While you are doing that task, looking at a smiling face with mustache, which was my brother-in-law, not romantic at all. So my fairas also happened. Finally, that wedding night was over. We came back and it was time for Suhagrat. Now that was brief. Not because of what you guys are thinking. You're pretty cheap people. It was brief because we had a tiring day. Wedding days are very tiring. We had a tiring day, and when you have to pluck 1,000 pins from your wife's head because of the hairdo that these guys do, romance kind of dies a very quick death. So we just slept. Next day morning, I wake up, open my eyes, and Monica's right there. And I was like, oh, shit. Anyway, and she just looked at me. You know, this girlfriend of mine of 2 years. And we'd gone to pubs, and we'd gone to rock shows, and we'd done a whole bunch of things. And she looks at me and she says, "Aap chai piyenge?" I was like, what the hell? You know, that "aap" still rings in my ear. The moment she said "aap," I knew the kundli was right. I'm gonna pay for that "aap" for the rest of my life. And I knew in that moment, I was so dead. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You've been a very kind audience.